Hi there, this is Shauna from the Foiled Fox, and I'm here on the Paper Tray Ink and Ink to Paper YouTube channel, and I'm sending some holiday greetings. These are some quick cards that we can make. I'm going to use the Holiday Spirit, which is a brand new background, has these wonderful sentiments and other holiday motifs that really make it really fun, make a really great background that you can use lots of different ways. And then I'm using Ornament Greetings, another new one that has ornaments and has these great frames and sentiments to go with it. And then of course it has a matching die set that we'll be using. Now to get started, I'm going to start out with a piece of aqua mist cardstock that I'm going to put in a stamp positioner, and I have the Holiday Spirit stamp all stuck onto my door there, and I'm going to just put this aqua mist in position, and I'm going to liberally put down some anti-static powder because I don't want it to stick where I don't want it to stick. So I'm using some Versamark ink and really putting a ton of that on there, liberally putting that and making sure I'm getting a really nice impression. Once that's done, I'm going to take some white embossing powder. I'm using Hero Arts white embossing powder here, but you can use any that you have on hand. And I love the way this looks when you get the embossing powder on it, but it's even better when you start to heat emboss it. But I'm going to put a little bit more on here. I want to make sure that it really shows up nice and evenly. And then I did leave in the to show you when you do start to heat it up and melt that embossing powder. I left this in. We all know how to do that, but it gives you a great reveal. I love how that comes out with having the just the design coming out and being more prominent as you heat it up. And there it is. Now I'm going to also trim those edges a little bit so that they're all nice and even. So I'm going to take out the ornament greetings, and I'm going to use the frames and the sentiments for this one. You could use the ornaments too, but for this one I'm going to just make these quick and easy so you can make up these cards for mass making them up or something that you need in a real hurry. But I'm going to start out with cutting out one of these frames. I'm going to cut it out before I stamp it. Now I find for these kinds of things to be easier to line it up because I'm going to take the frame now, the stamp that matches it. It's got this great dotted border. I'm going to ink it up with Versamark ink, but first I'm going to make sure that I have a lot of anti-static powder on my label as well, my frame, because I want to make sure again it doesn't stick where I don't want it to stick. Now this is why I can line it up as I turn on my light box, and I can really see the outline, and I can position it right perfectly. For me this is easier, but if it's easier for you to stamp and then cut it out, do whatever works for you. But then I'm going to use a technique that I love. I'm going to take a dowel. It has tape, double stick tape on the end of it. I stuck this tag or label or frame, however you want to put it, onto the end of it. I'm using some red embossing powder, and I'm going to just heat emboss it. When I have it stuck to this dowel, it means that I don't have to burn my fingers, and it's an easy way to hold on to it. And so it works very, very well for me. I use these for little tiny pieces when I'm heat embossing because I don't want the tweezer to wreck my embossing powder, or I don't want to burn my fingers, and this is a way to avoid that. You can use practically any size dowel. I find a little bit thicker one. I think this one's about a ½ inch. And now I'm going to ink up the sentiment that fits right into the center using Versamark ink and stamping that. And then I'm going to heat emboss that with the red again. So I'm sticking that on the end of my dowel. And then now we're going to just heat emboss that. And you can see this works really great for this too. I didn't quite get it stuck down as well as I like, but it's still stuck on there. And there it is. And so now I have a tray of all sorts of little goodies. These are leftover goodies from other projects, but you can just stamp them. Like I use the Holly from Corner at Holly, which is a new Stampin' Die set, which is fabulous, which I'll show you. There'll be new projects coming out with that one as well. But I also have some star flakes. These are these kind of snowflake flakes that I had coated in glitter. You can use glue and then dip it in glitter, or use that Glitz gel by Gina K. And now I'm going to just put a little bit of a foam panel on the back of my my background here, my background panel, because I want to pop it up just a little bit. And see, that's going to fit onto a card base that's just slightly bigger. Now I'm going to take some red twine. Now you can use anything that you would like here. You could also leave it off, but I just think that it creates kind of a nice grounding point for your elements. And again, I'm just demonstrating for you a quick way to use these elements that maybe you have left over. Like I have some pine boughs there that I used that were cut out of pine feather cardstock, and I have those holly, but I'm using some double stick tape and putting it on the back of this panel. I'm going to mount it onto the card base. The card base is a little bit bigger, so you can see the nice border around it. And now I'm going to take these elements, and so we know we did this particular sentiment frame, and now because this has the white and that aqua mist, I thought that the star flakes would work very nicely, and I like that they're all nice and glittery. And then I'm going to just use a few of these pine boughs, and these pine boughs, you can use any of them that you happen to have around. There were some great ones in Tree Essentials, a new stamp set that came out last month, but these are from Modern Gift Tag that came out last year. And then there's those little berries that were from the Corner Holly, which is brand new, and you'll see that listed on the blog. And now now that I have an idea how I want it to look, I'm just going to take some glue, some liquid glue, and liberally put it on the back so it sticks really nicely, and just kind of arrange it, because I have a rough idea how I want it to work. I always do a lot of fussing with this as well, but it is a great way to use little pieces that are either quick to cut out and stamp, or that you have them around from other projects. And so this just shows you these two. I'm going to show you another project that I used doing the same thing, using that same grouping, so that you can see how fast they can come together. Now I used this one. This is another one where I used the same background, the holiday spirit, and this is Vintage Cream is the paper that I use, the cardstock. It's from Paper Tray. And then I also there's two frames in this, in the Ornament Greetings stamp and die set, and I use gold embossing powder. And I stamped the sentiment and the frame onto that other one, exactly like I did the first one. And now I'm using these little elements. So I'm going to use these pine boughs, and I'm going to use the holly. And remember, those come from Corner Holly. And that's a really charming stamp and die set, by the way. And I'm going to just put these all together there. And I'm going to add some ones. Just tuck these here and there. I'm going to tuck some up at the top. And you can just decorate them any way that you would like. It's just a great way to make a really fast card. Put the little berries in there because I love holly and berries. It's one of my most favorite things for this time of year. And now this little bit of foliage you can find in so many stamp sets that you probably have around, but this one came from the Modern Gift Tag. And I'm just sticking those. That's, by the way, Modern Gift Tag is a Paper Tray ink and ink to paper. So here is the project that we did. It's a quick and easy. It's real. It gives it a real cheery look, and it's a fast one to put together. And then, of course, here we can take a look at the second one, which is using the Vintage Cream background with white embossing powder, and then more of those elements, and then gold embossing for that placard in the center. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a quick one to show you how to get your Christmas cards out quickly and with high impact. It uses holiday spirit and ornament greetings and corner it holly. And you can check out more information on the blog at blog.inktopaper.com, or you can pop over to foiledfox.com where we have everything there as well. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.